Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast Love Streamin'. Love streaming. I just love saying that. We are love streaming from my living room into yours. I'm Reverend Theresa Fieberts, and I'm really happy that you're here this morning again in my living room. Welcome, and thanks for inviting me into yours. We are live every Sunday here on Facebook at 11 o'clock. We are also live on YouTube. So you're either watching me right now in one of those two places, but both of those places, you can find the recordings at a later time too, which is really fun to know that we have that capability with technology. I'm really grateful to technology at this time. So you can also invite your friends, and I see that some of you have already done that. I appreciate that. You sharing the link this morning. That's really wonderful because we are continuing to build community in that way by you sharing and by you sharing what we are doing. Each week we are exploring this thing called life, what it is, how it works, how we are a part of it, how we participate in it. And I hope that I am bringing something that's fresh and relevant to what's going on in our lives today. We have a new global theme this month. The Centers for Spiritual Living is a global community. We are all over the world with our centers and teaching chapters and study groups and all of that. And this month, the month of August, is inclusion in action, and these outlines that ministers are given, and we have the option to use them or not, and I usually do because I love the synergy of people all over the world having a similar conversation around the same topic. I think that that's very exciting to be a part of. And these suggested outlines for this month were created by the Centers for Spiritual Living Diversity and Inclusion Commission. So I thank them because I think they're really wonderful, and I'm happy to be able to share. The topic this morning is, who are we? Who are we? And as I was looking at who we are as a collective, as a spiritual community, I had a lot of fun going back to when actually Bobby and I began the visioning for what would be our ministry. And at the time we began that, it was January 2018, and we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know we were even doing anything. I had become a minister the year before, and we knew something was brewing, but we didn't know what it was at all. So we opened up to what Spirit's idea would be. We opened up to a greater vision beyond our own ego idea. And we did that for 8 months. And it was August 2018 that we invited people here into our living room. And we did several months of that, twice a month. So just about every other week, we had somewhere between 10 and 20 people here in the living room opening themselves up to what this greater vision might be. And that accumulative spiritual download really was what became our core values, our mission, our vision statement that have been in the inside of our programs since we began meeting. And it's a guiding light. It continues to be a guiding light for me, and I hope for all of you. Now that we're not meeting, you're not seeing it weekly in your hands. But I'm going to talk a little bit about these ideas, these values, this vision that came in a very spiritual way. So this morning, as we look at who we are, we're looking at who we are individually, but each one of us with another and another and another and another are the collective Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. So I have more questions than I have answers for you this morning, which is the way you vision, is by being curious and opening up to a greater idea. So I want to take that idea of curiosity into prayer with us this morning as we begin our time together. So let us just know, with the great big cosmic question, There are the cosmic answers that we live and move and have our being, each one of us, myself and everyone that's tuning in right here and right now, everyone that's going to listen and watch this video at a later time, everyone around the globe, everything in the universe is immersed in, part of, it is the expression of this creative intelligence, consciousness, the one mind, the energy, the spirit, the essence of life itself. Some call it spirit, some call it energy, some call it source, substance, some call it God. Whatever that creative intelligence is, it is all that is. I see it, I feel it, I experience its allness right here and right now. As a unique incarnation of that one. I know it moves and animates my breath, my heartbeat, the inspiration that comes in as and through me is God itself. This is a spiritual universe, a friendly universe, with an abundance of goodness everywhere. I see that now with my eyes closed. I see the immense, the infinite possibilities. And so I lean in this morning. I lean in with a sense of curiosity. I lean in with a sense of adventure and excitement to know more, to feel more, to be more of this one in expression, in form, in my uniqueness. And what I know for myself, I know for everyone. And I bless this brilliance. I bless this beauty. I bless this creative intelligence. I bless the technology that connects all right now. This truly is an amazing world, and I open my heart and mind to a greater understanding. And so I claim for each one of us this morning, be it through the music, the message, the sharing, the words, our own intuition, that exactly what we need to know is known. Exactly what we need to feel is felt. That the experience of the divine is alive here and now. I claim this truth. I know it to be so. And so I celebrate it as I release this word. Please join me from your home in claiming this truth for yourself by saying, and so it is. So be it. Amen. And thank you for that. I now have my beloved, one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, our music director for CSLCC, and also our tech guy, Bobby Fieberts. So I'm going to scoot out of the way.
Thank you, Theresa. Thank you for that opening prayer. Take it in, everybody. This first song is a rewrite of a Jackie Wilson song, God's Love Has Lifted Me Higher and Higher. God's love is lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. It keeps me up, filled with desire, makes my dreams come true forevermore. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me higher and higher, higher. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me higher and higher. I do believe that I have been blessed. My heart is open, I am reborn, a co-creator with God as my partner. God is at my side forevermore. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me higher and higher. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me higher and higher. I do believe that I have been blessed. My heart is open, I am reborn, a co-creator with God as my partner. God is at my side forevermore. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me higher and higher, higher. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me higher and higher. You know God's love keeps lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. It keeps me up, filled with desire, makes my dreams come true forevermore, makes my dreams come true forevermore. Whew, all right. And now we have a reading from Hector Muniz. Take it away, Hector.
Good morning, everyone. That was so nice, Bobby. I really enjoyed your rendition of that. This morning's reading was selected by Hannah Belaf. She's been part of our community since our inception about a year and a half ago. I think it's a good one. It's called I Am Diversity, Please Include Me, by Charles Benefield, poet and diversity practitioner of Crossroads Rock Chapel in Georgia. I'm present in every place you go, depending on your lens. I'm friend or foe. I'm present when two or more are together. If embraced, I can make the good even better. I'm not limited to age, gender, or race. I'm invisible at times, and yet all over the place. Don't exclude me due to a lack of knowledge. Welcome me like the recruit fresh out of college. Let me take my seat at the table, even though I may be differently able. My experience, my passion, the authentic me, can help add value to your company. Learn about me, improve my underrepresentation, and I can provide a competitive edge to your entire nation. I exclude no one. I am strengthened by all. My name is diversity. And yes, I stand tall. Recognize me and help me in the mix. Together, there's no problem that we can't fix. I am your best hope towards true innovation. And to many, I reflect hope and inspiration. Your lives and companies will continue to change. Thus, the need for diversity and inclusion will also remain. Do all that you can to truly embrace me and experience life's fullness and beautiful places. I'm the thought lurking behind the unfamiliar place. I'm the ingenuity that helps your team win the race. I'm the solution that came from the odd question that was asked. I stand out in the crowd when I, diversity, am allowed to be unmasked. I'm diversity, embrace me, and we'll journey far. I'm diversity, include me, and we will reach the shining star. Coupled with inclusion, our lights burn longer. Together we are smarter, better, and stronger. I am diversity. Yes, that's me. Please include me with your company. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Hector. Thank you, Hector, and thank you, Hannah, for finding that. My next song is by Karen Drucker. It's called Let Love Lead the Way. When my world is not okay, when there are roadblocks in the way, when I feel so all alone, these words will bring me home. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Oh, let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. When we can't see eye to eye, no matter how we try, we can find our harmony if you sing along with me. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Oh, let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. In everything, love will be the gift I bring, to give and to receive, straight from the heart. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Oh, let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Tomorrow morning when I wake, there's a choice that I can make. Everything I do and say, I let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Oh, let love lead the way. 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 Oh, let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way.
Oh, yeah. I hope you were dancing. I was dancing. I was dancing. Thank you, Bobby. I loved both of those songs, and actually noticed we have a wood frame house with wood floors, and I was dancing so rowdy. I think at one point I was hearing something kept clicking. So if you heard a clicking noise, that was just me dancing. Um, so I hope you had fun with that. Thank you, Hector and Hannah. Loved that reading. Very much loved it. All of this has brought me right to this moment, perfectly set up for who are we? Who are we? Who are we with each other? Who are we in community? How do we show our values? How do we act out that who are we? Do we act out that who are we? I have lots of questions this morning. Hope you find some answers in my questions. I think there's great value for us getting clear about our identities, individually and collectively. This is good practice for us. And I believe that people really stand in their authentic power when they know who they are, when they accept who they are, the fullness of who they are. And I've spoken about that in the past. I don't recall the talk title, but it might have been Your Authentic Power, something along those lines. But when we can do that, we can more easily then celebrate the authentic other person, the people around us, the identity of other people. And that's what we want to do. That's our call for this morning. So I'm going to start with, who are we spiritually? Who are we spiritually? We are emanations of the divine. You heard that in my spiritual mind treatment when I opened up. That's the first principle that we look at in science of mind, is there's a unity, that there's one source, one substance of all life. And then one of our other 10 principles is that each one of us are the incarnation of that divine, that all of life is the body of God itself. And so first and foremost, we are spiritual beings. Our very makeup is as a spiritual being, right? So there's an illusion of separation that we often have, especially when we're in conflict with other people. But there's an illusion of separation between myself and you, between myself and the divine, between you and the divine. We set up this illusionary separation. But science has confirmed that that's not true, that there's one substance common to all of us, and that even those lines that we think are drawn in between us, pretty blurry. All life is interrelated and necessary to the whole. Ernest Holmes said, unity does not mean uniformity. And you hear that phrase, if you've been around a center for any amount of time, you hear that phrase often, unity does not mean uniformity. We don't all have to look and act and think the same, right? To be of the one. We can celebrate our uniqueness, our unique desires, our unique dreams and experiences. So when we're clear about who we are and accepting of who we are, and I mean accepting of our wholeness, I mean our gifts and our blemishes, right? All our experiences, all our identities, we can then more fully show up in who we are. And by us doing that, we can allow other people to more fully show up as the emanations of the divine that we all are. And when we do that, we know God more intimately by means of each other. Yeah. So our CSLCC mission statement begins with, we are a vibrant spiritual community engaged in peace, love, diversity, inclusion, authenticity, and creative self-expression. And as I said in my opening, these came from a practice of visioning that we began in January of 2018. And that culminated, all that for probably 11 months, into what are our core values, our mission, and our vision statement. So where do we do this? Well, on the cultural coast of Florida. But now with the pandemic and being here online with you, truly we're global. We're global. And so how do we do this as community? Well, as with anything that I talk about on any given Sunday, we always begin with ourselves. We always begin within. All our work begins within. So to be a spiritual community that is all those things: peace, love, diversity, inclusion, authentic, expressive. We begin with ourselves, with a personal awareness of who we are. And who we are is a little complicated, isn't it? It's a little complicated. We exist within a myriad of identities. So it's kind of hard to say, at least I'll speak for myself. It's kind of hard to say at any given moment, like, really, what's showing up, who is showing up. Was born a Catholic girl, raised in the South, and now I'm a New Thought minister with a master's degree in consciousness studies. There's a spectrum. I was a young woman struggling with daddy issues and codependency. I'm a committed mother, grandmother, wife, friend, daughter, sister. And I am intently learning to be a compassionate communicator. So I'm this and so much more. And on any given day, depending on what I'm doing and what I'm engaged in, we might see one aspect, one identity shine more than another. We change, don't we? We all do. Throughout our lifetimes, we've had many different experiences that inform who we are. I think back to my 20s and my 30s and my 40s, and here I am pushing 60. And I've had many different experiences, and I've grown along the way. And sometimes I'll say I'm still that rebel child that probably aggravated the heck out of my family. And other times I'm not. I'm somebody quite different than that. So sometimes our conditioning calls us to acknowledge a part of ourselves and possibly not another part of ourselves. It's the context in which we find ourselves in that often has us divide ourselves in pieces. And sometimes we end up repressing or suppressing parts of who we are. Some call that the shadow self. But we might hide our history, some of the things that we've done in our past. We might hide our cultural identity, our gender identity, our sexual orientation. We might hide our journey with mental illness, our use of drugs and alcohol. The work of Brené Brown is very much in tune with these types of things, and I have spoken specifically on those issues. I want to move a little beyond that this morning, but I think it's important for us to integrate and celebrate all that we are, all that we are. And when we do, that's where the healing journey begins. So I invite you, if you've never gone down that road, let's do it, because it really is where the healing journey begins. And we can do it here in spiritual community. We do it through classes. We do it through working with practitioners. You can have private one-on-one with the practitioners. You can do spiritual counseling with me. And I want to stop right here and just really hone in on that for a moment, that this community and the intentions of this community is to be the love and support of the divine here on earth, to be that love and support, to be that friendly place, to be that sacred place, to be that safe place. And our visioning that began again in 2018 showed us that. It was showing us the need for spirit to show up in that way as spiritual community. And there were 4 main ideas that came forth very, very strongly. And that's love is, and all 4 of these were really closely tied for first place, if there's another way to say that, or for lack of a better way to say that. Love, peace, community, and shine. These are our core values. And so love, we're aware and understand and know that unconditional love is a quality of spirit. It's available everywhere. We don't have to do anything to deserve that love. We are that love. And the more we get in touch with that's who we are, that's what we are made of, the greater reach we have to be that expression here on earth, right? And to spread more love and compassion and kindness throughout the world. That's one of our core values. Peace, in the same way we understand it as a quality of spirit, it's something inherent within us that we can bring poise and calm and a sense of centeredness to any and every experience that we encounter in our lives. We can bring it to conditions and circumstances in our lives. And we want to vibrate at that level of peace, vibrate at that level of love. So we do it in community. And community we recognize as the allness of life, the fullness of life, the diversity of life. And we want to actively participate in that and make sure that we're engaging and friendly and embracing and welcoming. Well, now that we're not meeting each other at the front door, what does that look like? What does that look like for CSLCC during a pandemic at a time of social distancing when we're online on Sunday mornings, when our classes are online? What does that being engaging, friendly, embracing, and welcoming look like? That's one of my questions for you this morning, and I really want to hear your answers. So we create a safe environment for us to each be free to be who we are, and in our reach, our stretch to be freely who we are, we welcome others to be that too, to shine their lights in spiritual community, to practice and experience shining their lights of who they are, so then they can go out with great confidence into the world, shining their lights. That's what we are about. So I want to engage you this morning in some ideas around that and ask, are we doing it? Are we doing it? And how can we do it better? So it just came to my attention recently that we have some friends and members that have been suffering with coronavirus. I understand that fatigue is one of the keynotes of this virus, of this illness, of great physical fatigue, but there's also an experience that many people have of mental fatigue. And it's a big struggle. And I'm hearing people pushing against that. Whenever we're in a place of resistance and pushing away something that is physical, emotional, mental, we're not being inclusive, are we? We're not being inclusive to ourselves. We're not accepting all of who we are, all of what we're experiencing. Now, I want to give a caveat. If you are experiencing coronavirus or cancer or some other dis-ease or loss in your life right now, this is not to say we're going to wallow in it and stay there and focus deeply on that pain that we're in, but yet we don't deny it. Science mind never says we deny conditions and circumstances, yet we know there's a truth within the circumstance and the condition that we can rise to, that moves us from this temporary experience that we're having. And this is where community comes in. We believe so strongly in the power of prayer, and it's not just a belief. Let me tell you that our 6 practitioners plus the 2 ministers in this community, you have 8 people praying. I have seen some amazing things happen within our community already within our year and a half of existence, whatever it is. Amazing things. So it's not just a belief. We're seeing demonstrations. It's powerful stuff. Let us know. Let us know. I can't possibly reach out and touch. You know, we have 77 or so members and hundreds now in our community. I need to know. I want to know. I desperately want to know what's going on in your life. If you're having a tough time right now, hiding within it or from it is not the answer. Please reach out. Reach into your spiritual community. This is one of the ways that we truly get in touch with the allness, the fullness, the wholeness, the totality of who we are when we allow other people to see it. That's truly what intimacy is. Seeing ourselves more clearly now involves some subconscious biases to be healed, to be revealed and healed, to be looked at, right? And it's human. We all have them, and it's human. And so I just want to take a little bit of time to go into those, a few of them this morning, because this is how our human mind works, our brain. It's how our brain operates, really, is that we categorize people and conditions and experiences, and we label them, right? This is what we do. And if you compound that, that process that we go through with systems that promote or have historically promoted oppression or strong disagreements or judgments or criticisms of different peoples, of differing peoples, equality, inequality, cultures of supremacy of any kind, those biases do not serve us. And so we want to be able to look at them. It's not conducive to loving ourselves, to loving each other, and to loving God, to be in the fully realized way of life, of a spiritual life. And some of our biases are very apparent, and many of them, though, are hidden from our own view. That's why they're called subconscious, right? They're below our everyday recognition. So I recently was reading some articles about this, and I honed in on one that was 10 cognitive biases, and this was from a website, Very Well, something like that, and I'm sorry I didn't write that down, but it was a collection of health practitioners and doctors and whatnot, and they're saying that these different kinds of cognitive biases that we experience, that we have, they distort our thinking, they influence our beliefs, they sway our decisions and judgments. And again, some of that is obvious and some of it is not obvious, but it affects how we think, how we feel, how we behave, and influence really how we show up in the world. And I would suggest that it influences how we show up on Facebook. I do look at some of your Facebooks. So I look at my own. I look at my friends. I look at what's out there. And okay, let's just look at some of these biases. I'm just going to mention a few. Confirmation bias. That's seeking support for what we already believe in. And we do it through what news channel we turn on. Do we turn on regular every evening, every morning Fox? Do we turn on CNN? Do we turn into PBS? What do we tune into? Because what we're tuning into, we're getting the news we expect to get. We're being confirmed and reaffirmed that our thinking is correct. That's what we get when we do that. We go to websites, we go to Facebook posts, we share Facebook posts. I do it too. We all do this. I share Facebook posts that confirm what I believe to be true, right? We go to spiritual communities. We go to churches. We go to places that confirm our beliefs. Some of that's great and fabulous. I would just suggest that, is it inclusive? Is it always inclusive? So it plays out in our world today like this. Do we favor masks? Do we favor schools reopening? Do we favor gun control or not gun control? Are we in support of the protesters or not in support of the protesters? Do we believe in global warming? Do we not believe in global warming? Well, if we tune in to the websites, the posts, the TV shows that support us, are we ever exposed to other ideas? And is there possibly a greater idea available for us? So I wonder, what is the harm? What is the harm in us doing that? What is the harm in us either watching only Fox or CNN or PBS or whatever it is? What is the harm in us never wavering from our committed beliefs? What is the harm in us being suspicious always of the other TV channel? Or generalizing without weighing all sides, instead of investigating and being in that place of curiosity? What is the harm in us having the tendency to stick only with the information that reinforces our beliefs? What's the harm in that? I'd love to be in your living room and have this conversation. What is the harm in that? I don't know. I think at some point, we're not being inclusive. We're not listening. We've become closed. And this happens to people who think that they're open-minded. You know? So let's look at another one, another kind of bias. Misinformation effect. Researchers find that those of us that have really strongly held belief systems have an inability to remember things accurately, that our recollection of things that transpired becomes suspect. It's unreliable. Here's another one, and I found this one to be really, really interesting. This one's called the actor-observer bias. The actor-observer bias. Observer bias. If we're describing something that we did, like talking about our own actions, we're likely to attribute our behavior to external factors. Things like, well, I ran the stoplight because the car behind me was driving so fast and was really close, I couldn't stop. Or I have a really bad diet. I eat junk food because my boss overloads me with work and I can't take time for a decent meal at lunch. I have to get there often early. I always leave late. I take work home with me. I'm eating fast food. I never have time. Okay, so you heard those two, right? It was an outside factor. But if we're judging someone else's actions, we often attribute their choices to an internal cause. So let's take this last example. I've got a bad diet because my boss, well, and then I'm thinking about my boss, well, he overloads me with work because he doesn't care about anybody else. He's only interested in the bottom line of the company. We're making assumptions about someone else's motivation without knowing what someone else's motivation is, right? Without knowing what they're really thinking. Because we don't really know, do we? We never. How do we know unless we ask? So see, these biases prevent us from seeing or taking information and processing it objectively. You know, Bobby and I were talking about this, and he said his favorite one, and so I looked it up. There's a 2019 article that says that 76% of Americans think they're great drivers. I don't know. If you drive on the roads, do you think 76% of the drivers are great drivers? I don't think 76% of the drivers are great drivers, but I think I'm a really good driver, right? That's called overconfidence bias. So it's really, I think, important for us to cultivate a sense of awareness. I speak about this in some way every Sunday, I think. To become mindful, to have a greater awareness and curiosity of ourselves and of life, to maybe even do some research, you know. Curiosity into an opposing view, something that might be new to us. And if you're really super duper brave, you could have a conversation with someone who has a different opinion than you do about a subject that you feel really strongly about. I don't know. Are you ready for that? So here's what I've been doing. This has been an amazing opportunity. I've been taking that compassionate communication course that we're offering right now. Well, we've already closed it. We've got the people, but that we're in right now. And it's on Marshall Rosenberg's work. And Marshall Rosen, it's the nonviolent communication information. And he says that 100% of our behaviors are to have a personal need met. And if it's true for me, and it's true for you, it's true for those people that drive us nuts. We're all just trying to have a need met, right? And I wonder, do you even know what your need is? Think about right now, think about a situation that's up for you. Maybe it's a current conflict you have with someone. Or maybe it's a current conflict you have that's in the news with a group of people. Whatever it is. Do you know what you're feeling about it? Do you know what your need is? What need do you have that's not being met that you want to have met? Do you have a need to be respected or appreciated, to be seen for who you are? Could that be it? Do you have a need for safety? Check in. You might find that on the surface, it feels like a need to be right. But what's behind that? And then imagine what it is for the other person. Play with this. This is what we're doing in class. And I said it's a great opportunity. It really has been amazing and transformative for me, even at this very, very elementary level. But I believe if we begin asking ourselves questions about what we believe, assumptions that we've made about other people, about our parents, about our significant others, about people who have beliefs different from us, we will grow in the most amazing ways, and ultimately the world will be a better place. People will get along, we'll have more love and respect. We will have more peace within ourselves. Curiosity healed the cat. Haven't you heard that phrase? Curiosity healed the cat. It didn't kill the cat, it healed the cat. We've been hearing that wrong all these years. When we're operating under unchecked biases, we are way more likely to engage in stereotyping and generalizing, and that's where diversity inclusion goes awry, doesn't it? So I bring it up because all month long we're looking at diversity inclusion, and I wonder, are we really inclusive? Do we have a limit to our inclusivity? Like, up to this point, I'll accept people. But once they cross this line, I don't accept them. And some of that may be okay. If you've got a boundary, not being in a place of allowing people to hurt you, then yeah, we look at that. So I'm just throwing these, I said I had more questions than answers for you this morning. And I'd love to have this conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please send me an email. Put it in the chat right now. Would love to have this. Come on to the our social time after the service is over, and let's have a chat, because how we show up is important as individuals and as a collective. And so do we show up inclusive? Are we open-minded? Are we really, or are we looking for confirmation bias? I truly believe in our CSL mission statement and our CSLCC values of peace and love and community and shine. And I believe in this. This is a quote from Thomas Merton. He says, "The beginning of love is the will to let those we love be perfectly themselves, the resolution not to twist them to fit our own image. If in loving them we do not love what they are, but only their potential likeness to ourselves, then we do not love them. We only love the reflection of ourselves that we find in them." Wow. Thank you, Thomas Merton. Healing can't happen without our honest inquiry into self, a willingness to accept ourselves and others for who they are. And I think that that's what we all want. I know that that's what I want, to be accepted for who I am. So let us bravely explore our own identities and all their complexities and splendor, to be open to what's asking to be healed in our own lives, to compassionately and boldly explore our own subconscious bias, to know and love ourselves. It starts there. And then we move to knowing and loving others. And this is divine work, which leads us to an intimate communion with God itself. Thank you. I am so honored to be traveling this journey with you. So it is.
Oh, thank you, Theresa. A lot to think about there. Here's a song from Karen Drucker, Joy in Our Hearts. Peace for all seasons. Sorry, something went haywire. There it is. All right. Peace for all seasons, love every moment, light shines wherever we are, faith in the darkness, hope in the silence, joy, joy in our hearts. Every day is a choice to show some kindness. We're all part of one family, so connected, our hearts and spirits. I reach out for you, you reach out for me. Peace for all seasons, love every moment, light shines wherever we are, faith in the darkness, hope in the silence, joy, joy in our hearts. Now is the time to come together, to count our blessings. We are grateful. We lift our voices in one chorus. My brother, my sister, let's celebrate. Peace for all seasons, love every moment, light shines wherever we are, faith in the darkness, hope in the silence, joy, joy in our hearts. Celebrate peace Let's celebrate love. Let's celebrate light. That shine, shine, shine. Let's celebrate peace. Let's celebrate love. Let's celebrate light. That shine, shine, shine. Peace for all seasons. Love every moment. Light shines wherever we are. Faith in the darkness. Hope in the silence. Joy, joy in our hearts. Peace for all seasons. Love every moment. Light shines wherever we are. Faith in the darkness. Hope in the silence. Joy, joy in our hearts. Joy, joy in our hearts. We've got joy, joy in our hearts.
Ah.
What are you laughing about?
Did you hear the reference to Jimi Hendrix there? Awesome. I'd love for
That
Jimmy to
just
go to
slipped
church.
in there.
Jimmy to go to church with us this morning. That was fun. That was a surprise for me. Great. Bobby, thank you so much.
Thank
These
you, Theresa.
songs were so perfect today. I've heard him practicing all week, but I didn't realize how well they were gonna mesh. Man, I love it. And I apologize. I talked long today. I talked longer than I normally do, but I had a lot to say about this. So thanks for listening to me. All right. Thank you every Sunday morning, really, for tuning in and continuing to support our ministry as we do what we really do feel called to do. And continue to explore how we can build community when we're not in the same building together, right? So again, please put your comments out here. Please send me emails. I mean, I want to connect every possible way we can. It is now our time of giving, and so our beloved board member Evan Schulte is on hand to post now in the comments for you all the ways that you can, all the different ways that you could choose to support this ministry, the giving ways to financially support this ministry. And if you're watching on YouTube, that information is there as well. And again, we do very much support or appreciate your support of this ministry. Evan also is going to post our Ernest Holmes affirmation of abundance that we've been doing now for months, and I'm loving it. I really do enjoy this, and so she'll post that in the chat, and hopefully it's going to be up there before we finish reading, so you can read out loud with us. All right? Good and more good is mine.
An ever-increasing good is mine.
There is no limit to the good which is mine.
Everywhere I go, I see this good, I feel it, I experience it.
It crowds itself against me, flows through me, expresses itself in me, and multiplies itself around me.
I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that. I just imagine hearing your voices with us on that. I just want Want to remind you that Thursday night we have meditation with Julie Birch. If you do not receive our weekly emails, which go out on Thursday morning, and it has that link to join the Zoom room for Julie's 6:30 meditation, which is highly recommended. It's fabulous. Then make sure that you get on our email list. You can go to our website, CSLCulturalCoast.org, and scroll down to the bottom and sign up for the newsletter, and that way you will get it once a week, and you'll have the information to who's our musician of the week and what the topic is and that type of thing. And with that, I'm going to scoot out of the way and put the Zoom link for our chat, which starts just a few minutes from now, and let you finish up. I love you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Theresa. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And as Theresa said in the talk today, if you would like prayer support, we are people who know that prayer works. So if you'd like prayer to work in your life, email us. Email the practitioners, prayer@cslculturalcoast.org. Let's close with Let It Shine. There's a light at the center of everyone. It can light up the world just like the sun. There's a flame within us that can light our way. It can burn away the darkness of a troubled day. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Whenever you see darkness, you've got to know that the light is within you. Everywhere you go, whatever you are facing, whatever's on your mind, you can help illuminate it. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, everybody.